What the fuck is up, my britches? If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and tonight we are doing a little bit of a different take on a Sephora sale haul. Not Sephora sale haul, doing a little bit of a different take on a Sephora recommendations video, because normally I'm giving you all my favorite products, all that stuff, but today I'm going to go through a full face of products that I regret purchasing at Sephora, and then we're going to see just how awful probably everything is going to look, and it'll probably explain why I regret purchasing all of these things. So if you guys like this take on a, I'm going to say, reverse look at a Sephora recommendations video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up or thumbs it down. That's cool too. I am so late tonight, so I hope you guys enjoy this time slot. If not, always watch the playback. I would recommend watching like 1.5, 2 times speed. Hello to other bridges coming to live chat. What's good? What's poppin'? Guys, we late tonight. I might hit a different crowd though. So let me know where you guys are watching from and what your favorite time to watch YouTube videos is, because I'm always curious about that. And we've got a lot of stuff to go through, so I'm just gonna, jump right into it. So some of these you're gonna see there's some consistency in some of the brands that you're going to see, which is kind of making me look at this like, why are you shopping these brands? And then other ones pain me because they're from brands that I love, which I thought was interesting because I feel like there is, just within the beauty space, there is chatter almost about like benchmark beauty brands, like brands that we shop consistently, and because they consistently have good products that work really well for us, I thought that would be a really cool video just to talk about like my benchmark beauty brands. If you guys would like that, let me know. Oh, I see, watching from California. Stacy says it's 10 p.m. there. Love that. It is 1 o'clock in the morning here, so welcome to bar owner nightlife. So here we go. First one. This is a brand you guys know that I love, but this one I just feel is so it's not a necessity for one, and for two, I really don't think that it works that well for, at least for me and what I look for. That's ultimately what I thought would be really fun about having this approach to this video, is basically showcase products that I thought I would like, so much so that I bought them. Maybe they didn't really work out for me, but then I'll explain why I don't love them. So maybe this will be helpful in the sense of, if you like certain things about products, this could still be ending up a recommendations video. We'll see. And then if you guys want any just feedback on products as we're chatting, because I am doing a full face, then I could answer, like if you're in the market for a foundation or whatever category, if you just want my recommendations, you can ask along the way as well. It's only 10 p.m. here in California, and this is the time I watch YouTube after my hubby passes. I just got home and I'm like, how long are you gonna be up for? He's just like, why? I said, I'm gonna go downstairs. So here we are. Hello, britches. All right, let me get a makeup wipe. So that was the Hourglass eye primer. Now, I know a lot of people love that one, but for me, this is why I didn't really care for this one, is simply because I like something that's going to really mute out my eyelid, which I do feel like this gives a slight tint. But because sometimes I have a little bit of darkness on my lids, I really like to mute everything out. So my personal favorite is the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base. So this one, especially for the price of it, I'm just like, probably didn't need to buy that one. Now this next one, we're going to start with the eyes. I feel like this is going to be very controversial. So you guys let me know your thoughts on this palette, because we are going to talk about a palette today. And it's a relatively new palette, and I feel like a lot of people were excited about this one for holiday. And I just overall, I'm like, I don't think that it's worth it at the $65 price point, at a 20% off price point. I think it's a fine palette. I just think that it's priced a little too high, at least for the quality that I feel that it gives. Does that make sense? So, yeah, this is what we're going to use today. And then I am going to be using some of my favorite brushes, because I really don't have a lot of brushes from Sephora. So if you're wondering any brushes that I recommend, you could also ask about that as well along the way. So I'm just going to dip in, and I'm going to start with how I would typically do my eyeshadow. And ultimately, it's really not a bad palette. Like, I feel like, honestly, the mattes in this palette, they're probably better than some of the other ones, in my personal opinion. It's just, I think, for The inconsistencies with the shimmer shades, like I expected these to be a lot more twinkly, and I feel like that's why I'm as disappointed with this palette as I am. You know, it's like I don't want you guys to think that it's a bad palette. I just think that if this color story is suitable for you, there's other options out there that I think you're going to get better, especially for the metallics. The metallics just really aren't giving what I want it to. Because I thought that these would give almost like an Urban Decay Moon Dust. And they do, but you have to really, really build them up. I personally think the best palette that Mario has done is the second palette. I really, really like that one. I think the quality of that was amazing. Those gave me that twinkliness that I'm looking for. This just, it almost like it falls flat. And I think that's what was, quite frankly, just disappointing in general. But I was a little more impressed with the mattes. So this is the other thing. Now, I would do this technique with any other palette. And see how the blend just isn't giving blend? Like, I am not super skilled when it comes to eyeshadows, which is why I love a good one and done look. But, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just not... It's not as easy to get the blend that I'm looking for as it is with other eyeshadows, especially with how many options that we have for eyeshadows nowadays, and also the eyeshadows that are going to be coming soon. How many of y'all are so excited for Makeup Geek? Because I am squealing. Honestly, guys, I'm really impressed with how many people are watching right now. Like, I expected there to be nobody here, so thank you all for being here. I mean, if you guys like these later time slots, feel free to let me know. Yeah, like, the blend is not, it's just not giving, but whatever. We'll just keep going. I'm going into this look fully anticipating it to come out looking like shit. Watch this end up being like one of the best looks that I ever do. Trust the process. Like I said, mattes really aren't terrible. It's just a matter of, I'm telling you, it's those fucking metallics. I just had maybe too high of expectations. But not really, because I had the expectations of what I get from the other palettes. And like I said, the second palette that Mario did, I feel like it gave me that twinkliness. It had the blendability. Like, it just had everything that I would expect, especially at a $65 price point. You know, I'm just a little surprised at the price point, to be honest. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I don't feel like I am. Like, I'm a creature of habit when it comes to my eyeshadows. So that's where I don't really think that I am that skilled. So I like to have eyeshadows that almost blend themselves, you know? And some brands give that to me, others do not. But you guys see, this is the look that I always go for. I add a sparkly shade on my eyelid and I call it Gucci because that's, to me, what is just most flattering for my eye shape. So now I'm going to go into what is honestly the biggest letdown of this palette, which is the metallics. And I'm going to primarily focus on this shade right here because this is the one that I feel like everybody was so interested in. Like, even swatching it, I'm like, what? I don't know. And then when you apply it, it's very thin. It's like, it's pretty. It's not terrible. Like, I've definitely used eyeshadows that are significantly worse, like super dry, patchy, all that stuff. That's not what this gives. It's just not giving what I expected. So even when I apply this, it to me doesn't even look what I thought it was going to look like. I see that Stacy agrees with me. She says this first and second palettes are better. I honestly feel that this palette is pretty comparable to the first one. I really don't reach for the first one, which I thought, because I love a basic eyeshadow. Like, you guys know this by now. I love a basic bitch palette, and I feel like truly that is the definition of these palettes are for basic bitches like me. But to me, like, this looks more yellow. It doesn't give that green. If anything, I think it almost looks more khaki in the pan. And then even this burgundy shade, it just does not give. And I'm like, man, we almost had it. I'm going to go into this golden shade a little bit here too and put this on the inner just so you could see a little bit of a variety. But, I don't know. Like, I feel like these get hard pan. And the building. It's the consistent having to build and build and build to get the effect that I'm looking for, which, don't get me wrong, some people, they might not be looking for the same thing. That's where I think it's really important to listen to the context of why people like and don't like products. So just because I don't like the result that I'm getting, you might watch me use this and be like, oh my God, I love it. So just keep that in mind. You may have a completely different experience, but yeah, to me, it's just a little lackluster. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. Like, you guys get it, right? But even with how much I'm layering this, still not giving. And that's just it. It's barely even shiny. What the fuck? Precisely. It is. I live for a green shimmer, and that's so underwhelming. Exactly. Even as it sits on my eyes, like, I have green eyes. A shade like this should accentuate my eye color. Like, you would think that it would pull my eyes more green, which when I look at myself, my eyelids don't look green. If anything, I feel like it's looking more yellow golden. So the proof is in the pudding right here on why I don't love this. Just expectations versus reality, completely different. And yeah, I mean, I could see where some people would really love this because it's very subtle, it's very wearable, it's very natural looking. It's very ideal, especially if you're somebody that has more mature eyelids, because you could see it's not accentuating any sort of texture. I just think that there's other palettes that are significantly better and significantly more worth the money, which is why this is going to be a fail for me. Now, you're going to see Makeup by Mario fairly often in this video, which I didn't realize how many products from this brand I have just not been a fan of. It's very eye-opening to me right now, so we'll get into that as we go. So next thing we have is primer. And the only one that I have in my collection that I could say is truly just like a why did I purchase this was the Easy Blur Primer. And not for the reason that you're thinking. I bought this solely because of the marketing. Like, I watched Huda do one of these and just claim that it's going to be the most blurring primer of all time, which, don't get me wrong, it does have a blurring effect. But guys, you should not have to use this much primer. Like, no shit. She puts it on, she says to put it on like a whole thing. Basically what I did on my face, that's how it's marketed. So that is a ton of primer that I feel like you just, quite frankly, should not have to put this much on. But that's besides the point. And especially for how much primer you're putting on, it does not make nearly as much of a difference as you would think, with how this is supposed to be almost like a silicone-y, really smoothing primer, and I just don't feel like it smooths. Maybe I'll be surprised because I have not used this in so long, but it almost feels like you're putting on like a layer of rubber or a layer of something that is just a film over your face. Just even when I look at my skin though, I'm like, I could still see with how much I put on, I could still see texture, I could still see pores. And I just feel like there's other primers that are significantly better that I don't have to use nearly that much product. Like, that is a lot of product for just a small area like your face, you know? So it's not a terrible product. It's just something where I'm like, there's other ones that are better. Now, I'm going to let the live chat vote on this one because there was 2 foundations. No, I'm not doing foundations yet. Let me do quickly some corrector, because why the fuck am I buying correctors? But then also a concealer. So for the corrector, you're going to see Huda once again. Because, again, this is just not something that I need. I don't have an insane amount of, like, darkness. I just don't need a fucking corrector. A concealer will do enough for me. But occasionally, you know, like, it's nice. However, this formula is not the greatest. I do believe that it was redone. Oh my God, Wanda, we haven't seen you in a minute. Where you been, girl? Hey, girl, hey. So, this is another one of those formulas where I just don't feel like it does enough, for one. Like, I think correcting, it does enough. It's the formula in the sense of I don't feel like it's flattering on my under eyes, which I put significantly less than what I usually put on, just because I know I know what's coming. So we're just going to lightly put that on. But this is one of those formulas that as it sits, it just gets worse. Think how I feel about the Hourglass concealer. That's exactly what I feel about the Faux Filter Corrector. This is another reason why I wanted to do this video, is because I fully intend on doing a declutter. Like, new year, new collection, declutter all the shit that's in my collection. So this is like my last stitch effort with some of these products. So we shall see what makes it through. And then the concealer that I'm going to talk about is from Westman Atelier. Now, I don't think that this is terrible. It's just I have higher expectations for Westman Atelier. And the main thing that I regret about this one is because it's just not the right fucking shade for me. Because, as you can see, it's very yellow. I thought I was going to like this packaging a lot more, but for how expensive this is, you don't get a lot of product, or at least it doesn't feel like you get a lot of product. The shade is completely off, and honestly, the formula, it's fairly lackluster for me as well. There's other ones that I still prefer so much more. Hi, Shelly! Yeah, 2 nights in a row, guys, we're back! I say that, but we shall see. So I'm just blending this out. Guys, if you're watching me use these brushes and you're like, wait, what are those blue handle brushes? These are the Crystal Cosmetics brushes that I was talking about in my last video. They're currently going for 40% off for the holiday. And just so you can get an idea of what they like in action, these brushes are incredible. So there's that. I love the Kosas Corrector. I also love the Kosas Corrector. I usually don't like correctors either, so we do agree here. And the reason that I love the Kosas is because it doesn't only serve as a corrector. To me, I think it's a perfect corrector and concealer in one. I think that formula is also incredible. So I'm right there with you. Now, for the formula on this for this Westman Atelier, I really don't think that it's bad. I just expected it to be a little bit more flattering than it is, because as it sits, it does fall into my fine lines. And I just ultimately wish that the color was better for me. I personally like a more peachy undertone. And at the time, I don't know if Westman Atelier has extended their range or not. At the time, this was really the only one that worked for my skin tone. More could have come out, but because I was a little underwhelmed, I don't know, even just looking at that, I'm like, it's fine. But I just think that there's other ones that are definitely better. Now we have Contour. You're going to see another familiar. Another familiar one. Now, technically, this is called a Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer. I look at this, I'm like, I would use this as a cream contour. I think this is trash. And I am always so confused when I see people love this, because I think it looks so bad. It accentuates so much texture. And ultimately, the formula is just, it's like it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't know what it is about it that I just don't like. It says soft sculpt, so I think sculpt. I think contour. This to me is not a contour shade. This is probably not what this is intended to be used for, like the underpainting and stuff. But this is why I bought it, is because this is how I would use it. So this could be what people would call user error. But here's the thing. It looks patchy as fuck. I've never understood how people like this. I think it is not good. And this is solely based on my experience. I think the color looks like baby poop. Just got here to want to let you know I got the 4 Crystal Lee brushes yesterday. Oh, I cannot wait for you to try them. They're so good. So exciting. Thank you for supporting my friend. Guys, I'm friends with Crystal Lee, if you guys didn't know, so I say Crystal Lee. I'm friends with Crystal, if you guys didn't know. So hearing you guys support my friend, that means a lot to me. So thank you guys very much. All right, this is the other thing with this. I know it says Skin Enhancer. See how shiny and reflective that is? For somebody like me that's got texture, Absolutely not. No. Don't get me wrong. There are other amazing contour products at Sephora. So if you guys have any that you're in the market for, you can feel free to comment. But this one, absolutely not. Just even look at that. I'm like, that pains me to look at this on my skin right now because I just need to get rid of this. Are you guys noticing a trend with brands featured in this video? And you know what? I'm going to do blush because of how bad I think this formula is. And I'm one of those people, I'm like, how do you fuck up a blush? But it's a cream blush, so it's possible. Huda Beauty is back again. This one, it's old, but I don't feel like this has ever really had a great formula. So this is the color that we're working with today. I'm putting this underneath because of how bad this blends out and how uneven it will blend out. Just overall how bad it's going to look in general. I'm just preparing myself and I'll be able to cover it with foundation. Because as you're going to see, it, one, blends out a lot more subtle than what you would think. But it almost blends out to nothing. But when you look at it on the cheek, it almost gathers in certain areas. So it's like you got pigment in certain spots. It's just overall very uneven. Can we talk about how bad that skin enhancer is? I completely agree though. Great color, terrible formula. You know who probably has a shade like this that would be amazing? Would be Danessa Myricks. Just saying. So what I just did was I just dipped into what was in my hand. And honestly, the color is the only reason that I purchased this. Because even, see how just, this is awful. This is torture, honestly. So the color was the only reason why I bought this. Because even when I swatched this in person, I still was not living, breathing, and dying for the formula. And it's just a little bit more tricky, a little bit more less desirable, in my opinion. But this skin is not skinning. I just want to take a moment and visit my under eyes because this is what I'm talking about with these under eye products that I use. See how you're really starting to see the texture accentuated on my under eyes as everything dries? Guys, I promise you, I'm never going to lie when I don't like something. You got the wrong one if you think that I'm not going to always tell the truth when it comes to how I feel about products. Let me just say something real quick before we go any further. Have you guys liked the video yet? I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you are, please feel free to like and share and subscribe if you're new. The show must go on. All right, you guys vote on the foundation. I have 2. I feel like I could do several of these videos, so if you guys want that, feel free. Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin. This is the Serum Concealer. Or the Makeup by Mario. This is the first one, so this is technically the Surreal Skin Foundation. Which one do you guys want to see me use? Because these both look awful on my skin. I can't even front. Like, when products are just not good for texture, it's literally all over my face. Because it just looks so bad. So, oh, I see Revamp and Radiates here. Hey, girl. So, you guys vote on which one you guys want to see. I'm just going to mix them both up. Okay, you guys. We've got one for Danessa, one for Mario. Stacy says she doesn't like either. Yeah, I mean, I could do one on one side, one on the other. All right, Makeup by Mario, Danessa. Okay, so we've got one extra for Makeup by Mario. Let's do that. Let's just do one on one side, the other on the other. Let's do that. So I'm going to start with Makeup by Mario. First of all, the shade matches. Why the fuck did I purchase something so light? I don't know. I can't figure myself out either. Let me grab one of my new favorites to my collection. Because, you know what? Maybe using a different technique, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised. I doubt it because I have used both of these so many different ways. And I've hated them every single time. But look at the look at the awful shade match. So we're definitely going to take this down for sure. So it's not so epically off. But then I remember as this dries down, it does adjust a little bit. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to blend out this little portion first. Let me grab my Crystal K1, which is unfortunately no longer available. But I think honestly applying that cream blush really is going to save the look. Applying that under the foundation, but even just watching this dry down, I'm like, oh, it looks awful. And then I have barely anything on my brush. I like to focus that right over. And then I marry it over the top. I'm not loving how this looks back here. I feel like it's got kind of a harsh line from where I initially drawed that on, so I'm just going to go over the top. So you really can't see the blush anymore. It's fine. We didn't like how it looked anyways. Very uneven. Now I'll just line this on the forehead. I do think that since using this brush to apply my foundations, a lot of my foundations lay a lot nicer. So I do think there is something to say about this side of this brush specifically. I picked that up during the last Sephora sale. Alright, so we're going to take down the Makeup by Mario down the center. I feel like you guys are going to watch this and be like, you're full of shit. These look great on your skin. The beauty of wear test, guys. What is the brush you cut in the foundation with? It's the Patrick Top brush. I'll link it for you guys after, because that I would say is definitely a recommendation I would have for that 20% off that's going right now. I forgot to even feature that in the beginning of the video because I got so sidetracked. If you guys didn't know, Sephora is offering 20% off regardless of what your tier is. So it's a one-time purchase. And use code SAVEGIFTS, I think, up until December 14th. So we have a few more days left. So yeah, that is the, it's, I think, just the 4 foundation brush. It's this one right here. I do have a Sephora link in my description box already. But if you guys want to wait for an individual link, I could definitely do that for you. So this is the thing with this foundation. I think the glow in it is really nice. But for somebody like me that has texture, it looks good for about an hour, if that, and then it just accentuates everything. And you'll probably see by the end of this video. Now let's do the serum foundation on the other side. And this is one thing that I remembered about this one, is it dries insanely fast. So I'm going to work a little bit quicker than how I worked with the other one. This is the other, there we go. I'm like, I remember I had an issue with getting the lid off before. But again, like, what the fuck was I doing when I was shopping for this? The shade is so off. But this, first of all, I can't stand the scent of it. It's got almost like an herbally scent, or at least it does now. I remember this always had somewhat of a scent though. But this has coverage, but this match is so... That match is so bad. So yellow, so light. Like, why do I still have this in my collection is beyond me. Because, wow, questionable judgment on what the hell I was doing. Like, I just used way too much. I'm just going to use whatever's left over on the lid for the forehead. And you can see just how much coverage this has. Like, if you want something that is definitely a thinner consistency... but has hella coverage, like, look no further, because holy shit. But see how it's just... It looks like I'm wearing a fucking mask. Like, this side, the fact that this side looks significantly better, that's a problem. Because, wow. I feel like the shade match on the Makeup by Mario, once it sits down, because it does darken as it dries. But... tell me that that does not look terrible. The color, the texture, like literally everything about this. And it's even worse that it's not on my good side. I can't, like... It's so bad. Oh my god, I hope you guys are getting entertainment out of this because what the fuck? It's not good. At least to me, what I need and what I look for. First of all, that's way too much coverage for me. I don't need that much coverage. Just everything about it I don't like. I don't like how it looks on my texture. I don't like the coverage. I don't like the color. Literally nothing. Like I said, the fact that this looks significantly better and I still think this foundation is awful, that's just letting you know something's terribly wrong with this right here. But guys, let's keep going. What brand do you think is next? Because I've got a couple that I could probably talk about for my cream, or like my powder bronzer, like cream to powder or powder bronzer. So the first one I would say is Miss Charlotte Tilbury. I don't understand how anybody likes this cream to powder formula. I think it blends out terribly. The formula, it's just not good. Okay, that's all I can really say. And the pan is huge, so you do get a really good amount, but it's like even running your hand through it, it's a cream to powder, but it feels almost like suede, but a cheap suede because it doesn't feel nice. That's the color. I mean, I'm not mad at the color. It's just ultimately I don't like this formula at all. I have come to the realization in my makeup journey, I do not like cream to powder formulas. Or at least the cream to powder formulas that have the texture of that suede. Like Natasha Denona is another brand that has a very similar sort of a formula. I just don't like it. And then we have these Patrick Ta duos. I fucking love. What is this called? She's Statuesque. I love Patrick Ta's cream and powder blush formula. This one is so fucked up compared to those. One, I don't feel like the cream is as creamy. And it's definitely expired by now because of how long I've had this. But the shade, that is not going to work for me. Why did I buy this? And then even the powder, it's just poor judgment call on why I would buy a shade like this because I'm never this light. So there's that one there. I do also have a different shade in this one though that I'm going to feature because I think I want to use this one today. I also have She's Sculpted. So I'm going to use this. So I felt the same, but I want to say that these two shades are in between each other and like the depth difference was kind of crazy. So you've got this one here and then you go up to this right here. At least that's what I think. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've purchased this. But like I said, I love the blush formula. And I don't remember which one I bought first. I want to say I bought these first because I think these launched first. But ultimately, it's just not a product for me. And we're going to see why. Because with this formula, Patrick is always saying how he likes to apply these like powder and cream duos. He does the powder first, which I'll brave that. I will do this. I probably should have set my face with powders, but honestly, I can't think of any powders that I've purchased from Sephora that I really didn't like. Like loose powders. Let me... Actually, that's a lie, but I don't have it anymore. The new Givenchy Prisme Libre, I got like the Celebration shade because it has the shimmer in it. Immediately no. That's probably the only one. I think all the ones that I own right now. Or no, I do have the Makeup by Mario that I don't love. Let's pull out that baby. Are you guys noticing a trend? I promise this is not meant to trash Makeup by Mario. I feel like this just goes to show, like, I want to love everything Makeup by Mario, and unfortunately, it just falls flat for me. So I feel like with the powder bronze, it's really not terrible. It's more of, I feel like this just didn't need to be, like, a cream and powder duo, because I always felt like the cream was what I didn't like about this one. But it's still, it's a little bit patchy, not really the most smooth looking formula. And you can't say it's the brush because I use this brush for literally everything. This is the Crystal K39. I mean, this does have a really pretty glow to it. I almost wish that he would revisit this formula. Revisit it. smooth it out a little bit, like just make it better. Make this a better formula and we'd probably be back in business. I think this has potential. It's just maybe it launched sooner before he had like the formula really mastered, but I do think maybe I need to revisit this a little bit more. I think it's still a little bit uneven for what I like, but it's not terrible. Okay. Let's pull out this powder, Makeup by Mario. This one for me, I know this one is very, like some people love it, some people hate it. I just feel like there's other powders that, one, they lay a little bit more seamless. And this, I feel like this is another one. It's like as it sits is when I don't like it. Because I think that this has a little bit of shimmer as well in it. Because I always noticed that as I wore it, it looked worse. And I feel like that is almost like a trend. And this is the thing. Maybe because I feel like on camera, this doesn't look nearly as bad as it does in real life. First of all, in real life, my makeup looks so fucking heavy. It's sickening. But I also feel that these products are very highly designed for film. Which makes sense because of what Makeup by Mario does. Like, he's always doing celebrity makeup, and it's always on film. You're always getting, like, high-definition photos. So that makes sense as to why it looks really good on camera right now and why it doesn't look nearly as good as I feel like it does on the camera. How do you guys think everything's looking? Let me give you a close-up just so you can get a better idea. But do you see just how heavy? I don't know, like you guys see my makeup often enough where you're like, there's other things that I think look significantly better. Don't judge my mustache, okay? Leave it alone. I keep telling myself, like, Brittany, wax your fucking mustache, and I just keep forgetting to do it. So the other thing that I don't love about this is the packaging. It's very messy. So it's like, it's got the sifter, but I feel like product just goes everywhere. So don't love that aspect either. And now it's just snowing loose powder everywhere. Yeah, I'm not making this video to trash on Makeup by Mario, I promise. But like when products just don't work ideally, they just don't work ideally. And that's that on that. Now let's go back to the Makeup by Mario since I got distracted by the powder. Now I'm going to dip into the cream because this is how these products are marketed and why Patrick designed these is to put the cream over the top. And normally it would be reversed, at least for me. And honestly, that's not looking that bad. Maybe I need to just refresh this one because this is old AF. I would be curious to almost buy this one again now that I'm using it. But I remember I just never really reached for this. As you could see, you could still even very visibly see the embossing. So that tells me this just really didn't pique my interest. Therefore, it's a waste of money. Like when I'm spending, this was probably like at least 40 to 45 bucks for me to not even have a small dent or for it to look barely used. That's why I say regret. Probably didn't need to buy it, especially when I have this much makeup behind me. So that really isn't that bad. Regret in the sense of maybe I just didn't appreciate it, but I do feel like the powder formula needs a little bit of work. Okay, now we can move on to this because I don't know if it's just me. Oh, we can also talk about this bronzer too. Guess what brand it's from? Wow. I feel like I could have just done a full face of Makeup by Mario that I hate because, again, for a bronzer, that's barely touched. Anybody watching this, like, do you feel the same way about these Makeup by Mario products that I do? Because I honestly didn't realize how many of these products I had. Wow. But I'm going to feature this as well because I just don't understand this. I think I'm just going to, I mean, I feel like this is how I always see Mario market this and use it. Like, that looks awful on my skin. It accentuates all sorts of texture. Like, this is supposed to be an enhancer, but I feel like this is an enhancer in a way that it's like, if you don't have perfect skin, this is an immediate no. Like, and I'm not even picking up a lot. I feel like this is supposed to be something like an Hourglass ambient powder, except poorly executed. Lisa, I do agree. I feel like the cream is almost too cool for it to be, I mean, it's called She's Sculpted, but I mean, for a bronze, I do agree with you on that one though. Yeah, that enhancer, it's, again, if you have textured skin, it's just not going to work. Let's see. Can you tell me what to think about the House Labs powder bronzer? I don't own that one. I have heard a lot of great things about it. I do really like the blushes, the highlight, so I would be confident to say that the bronzer is probably good. But I have not tried that one, so I wish I could tell you that I love it or hate it, but I can't. I'm sorry. Yeah, so the enhancer is a fail. Moving on. Do I have a blush? I feel like blush is one of those products where it's really hard to fuck it up, especially a powder blush. However, one of my favorite brands has successfully done that. I think this is one of the worst powder bronzers or powder blushes. I think this is the worst powder blush I've ever used that was luxury or high-end. Honestly, you usually get formulas like this for like drugstore. For me, it feels different in the pan, like when I just ran my finger through it like that. It's almost like when I apply it on the brush, it turns into chalk. I can't explain it. And you're going to see me apply this and apply this and apply this. And it just doesn't give enough for what I want, you know? I feel like this had a lot of potential. And I think it's a product for somebody, but I'm a blushy girl. Like, I love a blush. So if you're somebody that likes more of a minimal type blush that doesn't have a lot of pigmentation, I shouldn't have said that it's like a drugstore, because it's not. Like, it does feel, how do I want to explain this? Because I feel like I just explained it badly. It feels like it might be a cream to powder, but it's not. It's definitely a powder. It has a very unique texture. But, like, that is not giving me. Like, I feel like that did nothing. This is Westman Atelier. Did I not say that? Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I was expecting something a lot more than what this gives. And I felt the same with even the duos. So let me just touch on this real quick, because I really wish that these duos were not so expensive. Where the fuck is mine? I just used it. You know the blush bronzer duos? This is really going to irritate me because I want to show you guys this. Give me a moment. Let me try to find it. I clearly can't multitask tonight. Normally I could do this pretty well, but not today. Maybe it's just because it's late. All right, so this right here. I was hoping that these blushes would give a little bit more. I do think that this was done better than the duos, because this blush, I don't know, it doesn't, actually, you know what? Is that the same shade? Petal? It is. These are the same. Wow, I didn't even realize that. Because I never reached for this blush either, because it doesn't give enough, and now that makes sense. So this is definitely more subtle, wearable. The formula's not bad. Like, I take back what I said, because I shouldn't have worded it the way that I did. So I think I just expected more. I shouldn't have expected what I did, because Westman Atelier is like clean girl aesthetic makeup. But because it just doesn't give enough, like, it's a very flat looking formula. Like, if I didn't have that skin enhancer, I would look like I had no sort of radiance to my skin. So it's very much a matte blush, which automatically I'm more I'm more favorable towards a like soft sheen or like a luminous style blush. I really don't wear matte blushes that often. But this right here, I use this contour shade all the time. I wish that they would just sell this by itself because I think it's amazing. Ultimately, I had higher expectations for this, for how expensive this was. I want to say this was like $50 or $60. Packaging's beautiful. Love that. But yeah, the formula just, it's like the formula of the shade, I just don't really love it. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. I apologize for talking shit. I was like talking out of my ass there for a minute, okay? Throw me a bone, it's late. But like when you guys look at that blush, are you like living for it? And that's 3 layers. I think that's what it is. I have to layer it so much to get what I'm looking for, and I don't like that. You guys get it. All right, moving on. People watching this playback are going to be like, is she okay? All right, now we have highlight. Now, this is not a formula that I don't like, but it's just, I need to accept the fact that I'm not going to use this. And that is the Givenchy Prisme Libre highlighter. So these are loose powder highlights. I think these are so beautiful, but they're so expensive, and I never reach for them. Plus, they're a little difficult to maneuver and manipulate, and it's very easy to over apply. So it's definitely more suitable if you want like a blinding highlight, but see how I just put way too much powder right there? This is why I don't like a loose powder highlight, and why I never reach for it, because it's very easy to go overboard, and I don't always love that. I think when I really loved buying these and I always recommended them, which I still would recommend them because I think that they're very flattering, they're super pretty. However, for what I do with my makeup, I don't use it. Therefore, it's not worth it. I did not need to spend the like 40 something dollars on this loose powder highlight, and I did it twice, and I never use it. Like, it's FOMO. That's exactly what it is. FOMO, it gets me every time. And you know what? I buy it so you don't have to, and I just justify it because I have a YouTube channel. All right, setting spray, we have the Dior Forever Perfect Fist. Wow. The Dior Forever Perfect Fix Set Refresh and Hydrate Spray. There's a few things that I don't like about this, and it pains me because I love Dior. But first of all, so fragrant, so floral. It's like floral, but almost like cleaning supply smell. The packaging is awful. It's plastic for being Dior. Unacceptable. And I don't think that this is like the backstage line, or at least I don't feel like this should be plastic. I feel like this should have been glass, but people like to travel with it, whatever. But the spritz on this is the bigger thing that I don't like. It's got almost a thicker mist. It's got the bigger droplets. I just don't personally prefer that. I like a nice fine mist. It's also almost like soapy. Doesn't feel soapy on the skin, but I thought I was going to love that, but I don't know. Even revisiting like the skin right now, especially that cheek where I was just like, I look at this and I'm like, my makeup does not look good. But trust the process because we're still not done. Guys, have you liked the video yet? All right, moving on. Eyebrows. So I love how small this is. This is from Kosas. This is the, what the hell is the actual name? The Ultra Fine Detailing Pencil Crayon Ultra. Medium brown is the shade. So I love the idea. I love the concept of being a nano pencil. However, the pigmentation just ain't there. And for how micro this is, I don't even know if I'll get my eyebrows all done with this. But it's super tiny, which I like. I like how it's a super precise application. The Make Beauty one, though, I like significantly more. Because, one, it's a little bit longer. Like, this is a little bit uncomfortable for me to hold in my hand because it's too short. Like, you could have a nano pencil, but you can give us more product. Let's just say that. I don't think the price of this is too bad. I think it was like was it $16 or so? But I have to push so hard to get this to show up. So the formula is not good. Like, I don't mind a dry pencil as long as it gives something, but I borderline feel like I'm going to scrape my eyebrows off with how hard that I have to push to get any sort of pigmentation. That's why I love the Make Beauty one so much, which I talked about in my October favorites. So I think if you like the idea of how small this is, that would be the one that I would recommend significantly more than this brow pencil. Like, I'm having to, let me just, like, I'll give you a visual of, like, this is what it would look like, how I would normally apply my pencils, and to get, oh, look, I just broke it off. I'm clearly done with the brows because I just broke the rest of that off, and it wasn't even up that high. So that just pissed me off because I couldn't even finish my eyebrows. Not a good formula, in my opinion. It's too dry. And, yeah, I just think that there's other ones that are better. The end. Now, I love that Kosas and the Huda. I also love the Huda. I also really like this one from Rare Beauty when I want to get my eyebrows done super quick. But I do think the Make Beauty one is the best. But I also have repurchased the Huda one several times. But there's something about the Make Beauty one that I feel like is just a little bit better in the sense of I feel like it stays in place a little bit better and I don't go through it as fast. The brows are going to look like shit. It's whatever. We got 2 different brow products right now and we're just trying to whiz through these. But at least you got a visual of how that one looks applied. But I have to push down so hard with that Kosas one, so... Girl, 99% of the things you have used so far, I don't have, and thank you for this, so I don't spend money on them. I mean, you're welcome, but yeah, that was like the point that I was thinking of. You know, if you've been eyeing some of these and you're like, oh, maybe I just need that last little push. No, the fuck you don't. No, you don't. There's a reason you haven't bought them yet. And yeah, I'm glad that I'm seeing that sort of response, because that was what I was hoping for when I was like, you know what, let me do like a reverse recommendation, if you will. Let me recommend you not to get Suff. All right, we're gonna leave the brows alone for now. Don't judge me, all right? So, I don't have any brow gels. Like, it's really hard for me to criticize a brow gel. I'm like, it's a fucking brow gel. For mascara, though, I kind of feel bad doing this one because I haven't tried that many products from this brand. But when I got this is from LYS, the Lash Confidence Mascara. This I didn't like solely because it was such a wet formula. I don't like that at all. So I'm just going to quickly apply this. And I purposely kept this one in hopes that, you know, as sometimes you open a mascara and it's a really wet formula, you let it sit for like a couple weeks and it will dry out just a little bit to give you almost like a perfect consistency. I almost feel like this is still too wet. So this was so wet in the sense of I apply it to my lashes and I blink and it would get all over my face. So nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Once you apply mascara, you want it to stay where you put it. And this does get clumpy as well as you build it. So I usually can't do more than 2 coats of this one. And I'm not somebody that is usually super critical about mascara either. So the fact that this one stood out to me, and I'm honestly still surprised that I have this. I do like this for my bottom lashes because I feel like it's such a wet formula that it easily clings. But then I'm like, all right, it's going to flake all over my face. And it's not going to flake the same as other mascaras flake. It's going to flake like get shit all over me because it happens every time. So I'm going to let this dry down and then I'm going to move to my lips. So I feel like we're in the categories of like, it's really hard to fuck it up for me because there's so many options. But lip pencils, this is more of just like a preference thing. One, I'm going to say the Patrick Ta Precision Lip Crayon. I personally prefer a lip pencil or a lip liner that is a sharpener, so that way you can get it super sharp. This one, it's got like the push-up application, and it's a little bit wider, this is old AF. So it's not bad. It looks bad now probably because of how old this was. Like, this is definitely expired. But this one, I'm just like, I don't know why that I bought it, because I don't usually like lip liners like this. And it's almost like you hope it's going to change your mind. But honestly, to me, nothing is going to be better than a liner that you could sharpen that gets super precise. Just what I like. So now, I'm only saying this one, not because it's bad, but because there's other ones that are equally as good, or if not better, that are just less expensive. And the only reason why this costs what it does is because it's Gucci. Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Everybody's probably like, but why the fuck did I get this color? Honestly. What was I thinking getting this color? I don't know. The lip liner aspect, like the formula, it's fine, but even for, you know, a sharpened pencil, it's still really not to my expectation. I'm judging myself on the shade selection though, but I will say, with Gucci, they always play us with the photos. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Yeah, they always play us. So this did not look orange when I bought it. There ain't no fucking way. Like, when I had seen a picture, this should have been a shade I returned, but I was probably like, oh no, I'll keep it because it's different for my collection. Yeah, you're dumb as fuck because you never use it. I gotta get this off my lips because it's distracting me, my little concealer lip. So, whatever, you saw how that applied. Doesn't apply the greatest. There's other pencils that are significantly better. Let me add just a little bit of this one on, though. Because I do think there is a purpose for this. But with how much stuff costs and how little I plan on using things like this, it just isn't, it's not worth the investment. You know, like, this is a lip liner. I don't even know how much these are. When the hell am I going to use an orange lip liner? Hardly ever. And then I was going through my drawer of all my lip products, and I'm looking and I'm like, all right, what have I not touched? And I bought this, and I don't think I touched it since. Rare Beauty. This is the matte lip cream in the shade Inspire. I seen somebody's video, and that's what made me purchase this. Because I'm like, oh, that would be perfect to add in my collection. But color is super cute. Formula very much gives Kaleidos. Which, how I feel about the cream to powder cheek products, I feel the same about lip products, because usually they apply very uneven. And this one, I feel like it hides it a little bit better because of the color, but it feels like you have almost like dimethicone. It almost feels like, you know what it feels like? A dimethicone primer for your face. It almost feels like the Huda Beauty faux, or what was this called? The Easy Blur. It feels like that in a lip product that's tinted. But as you saw in the initial application, you gotta layer it to get it to lay evenly. I think the color is super pretty. Very ideal for spring, summertime. However, did not need to spend the money on it because it's not something that I ever use. And like I said, I fucking bought it and I think I used it once. In this color, it looks exactly like my YSL, what was it, the lip stain that I use all the time in the summertime. Like, why did I need a different formula for almost the same shade? I don't know. Maybe it's just the mood that I'm in, where I'm like, why did I spend all my money on this stuff? All right, jumping back to this palette here. This makes me so mad because it looks so good. Such a pretty color story. Like, I feel like he nailed it with the color story on this one, but man, if those shimmers especially were just a little more punchy. Right? I do agree. The color is really pretty. Thank you, Lisa. I forget whose video it was that I saw, and I'm just like, oh, I need that. Because, guys, I get influenced just like you guys do. I watch content just as much as you guys do. I always watch the recommendations. I do all the same stuff, you know? And I fall victim to FOMO all the time, and I buy things and I spend money on things that I probably shouldn't because, you know, I've got them probably 100 times over in my collection. But one day maybe I'll learn my lesson, but probably not. I feel like the concealer is wearing off. Probably. All right, let me just... This is what I mean. Like, I always get to this point with these eyeshadows. I'm like, all right, now you need to come to life. Now you need to blend together. And then they just get messy. And some people will say it's because how you do your makeup. But I do this with every other palette. Okay, that's not as bad. Watch. This video is going to make me a liar. The end result is going to come out looking beautiful. But you know what I'll say to that is good brushes will make shitty makeup look good. And I will stand by that fact. Because I truly believe that that's the case. If I was not using rougher brushes, I really don't feel like the eyes would look as good as they do right now. And like we say all the time, trust the process when it comes to makeup. But I just think that there's others that are significantly better. I don't have to work nearly as hard. Yeah. I'm like tripping over how this feels on my lips because it feels so different than pretty much any other lip product that I own. And I will say that's another one that looks way better online than it does in real life. Let me give you a close-up just to see if you could see what I'm seeing. You could see it's like uneven around the outer edge of my mouth. Right there is where I had that concealer. It doesn't cover quite enough. Yeah, like I just feel like it's not, you know, let's just give you a close-up of the skin anyways, because, you know, this is what we're working with, and, you know, this is what we got to be mindful of when we're looking for makeup that's going to be flattering. All right. Anything else that I wanted to talk about today? Are there any products that you guys are curious? Let me grab a liner, because I'm sure that there's a liner that I have in my collection that I don't love. Let me look real quickly. Honestly, no, I did declutter all my, I did declutter all of my liners that I didn't love. Yeah. How are we feeling about the finished look, though, so far? Let me grab inner corner brow bone highlight real quick. I'm going to use this shade right here. I honestly feel like that shade is one of the best in the palette, though, because it's like a perfect bone color, and it has a little bit of sparkle in there. It's almost like a nice brightening powder. Not for your face by any means, but do you guys even notice too, like, since I used a corrector and concealer, I know you said it looks like the concealer's wearing off, but like, it doesn't look like it's covering. You would never guess that I used a corrector and concealer. I'm going to take the golden shade and put this on the brow bone on these tragic eyebrows right now. Okay, whatever, it's fine. Not liking the blush bronzer. I'm not liking a single aspect of this makeup look. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to as why I don't like any of these products. Because the eyes, they're not giving. The lip, cute color, but not a great formula. The face in general, it looks so heavy. I mean, it's not as bad as I thought, but it's giving clown makeup. right? If I don't like something, I try to declutter it quickly. See, I'm really bad about that because usually I like to keep stuff in my collection for content purpose. So if I have a video where I want to compare things or stuff like that, I think going forward, though, in the future, I'm going to try to not do that. Because I agree, it looks way too heavy. Like, this is very much a makeup face. Could you guys think of any product that I'm wearing right now that I should save? Because I think this video solidified the fact that I need to get rid of all of this. If the foundation is off, it's hard to recover. I do agree with that. However, I have tried these products so many times. Let me do one more thing just for the sake of the video. I'm going to take the loose powder again, and I'm just going to try to edge up that underneath the like the jawline, just to see if, because of how heavy this looks right here, just to see if this does anything. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know until you try. But I do agree with that. As soon as the foundation's off. But honestly, a lot of the time, I feel like because of how I do my makeup, I do feel like it's easier for me to recover a foundation if it's off, because I do everything else underneath it. So I feel like when a foundation looks really off on me, it's just really fucking off. Like, that I think helped a little, but not enough. Yeah, I think this is what it is about this powder, is the powder itself just looks too heavy. Because I even feel like that added like a very powdery heavy look to my skin. Let me see. I feel guilty getting rid of something that I just got, so I hold on to it and get rid of it later. It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense, especially when we are fortunate enough in America where they do offer returns. It's like, I don't feel bad. Like, if I really don't like something, especially when it's either not available in store, where you can't swatch it, you have no way to see something in person before buying it, I do not feel bad about returning stuff, because let's not act like this stuff isn't fucking crazy expensive, and let's not act like we don't throw so much money at these companies, where I'm just like, if something is that bad, I'm sorry, I don't feel bad for a multi-billion-dollar company. I just don't. And it's one thing where I know people abuse that aspect, like they'll just buy things to try them just to return it. That's not cool. But if you're genuinely buying things to love them, you know, like easily, just the top of my head, like especially with foundations, for a while Sephora wasn't doing samples, so that's one thing I will always encourage people. If you're foundation shopping and they're available in store, go get a sample first. That way it does eliminate the waste and stuff. But like these, I know that I ordered these online, or at least I'm pretty sure I ordered this one online as well. I should have switched the shades. Like, why the fuck I didn't do that, I don't know. But yeah, I think ultimately this was a learning experience for all of us, in the sense of trying and revisiting your collection. Maybe you'll get a surprise and maybe you won't, like I did not today. I do plan on going through my collection and doing declutter, so if you guys want to see a declutter, let me know. Ultimately, though, I think going into 2026, I will be just kind of reconsidering how I go about certain things. Like, I have always been the type of person that really likes to focus on new makeup, which that's not going to change. I always love prioritizing new stuff just because everybody's nosy. We want to know if it's good. But I'm not focused on buying every single new launch anymore, which I feel like I was pretty good about that this year, and only buying things that I was actually excited about. But we shall see. I don't want to say too much yet, but I thought this was a nice little take on a Sephora recommendations, but revisit what we have. And I don't know. Let me know if you guys want to see another recommendations video. I know we just did one during the Sephora holiday savings event, so if you guys want another one, if you have any suggestions on how you would like me to structure that, because usually I focus on the newer stuff or things that I reach for a lot, but I've done previously like where I'll focus on each brand and then feature the products. I've done top 5, top 3, like best of each category. You guys let me know your feedback. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's late, so I'm going to get off of here for today and get this off of my face immediately. And one thing I will also be doing is most likely when I do my declutter is I do plan on, I'll probably sell some things that are in very, very good condition on like Mercari or something like that, or Poshmark even maybe. So I'll keep you guys posted on that on my IG story most likely. So make sure you're following me on there. Follow me on TikTok. And hopefully I will be back tomorrow with another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to shop the link if you're shopping anything at Sephora for the savings event. Or it's not even a savings event. Let me pull this up really quick for you guys. If you guys are shopping, I do have a link down there already. If you use code SAVEGIFTS at checkout, you'll get 20% off regardless of what your tier is. I think this is a great time to prioritize gifts, fragrance. My top recommendation for fragrance right now is definitely the Angel Share with the orange in it. So good. And ultimately, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!